I picked up on Introduction, page 12, Emigration from Zoroastrianism, Symbols and Values by Jacques, Duchesne, Guillaume. Emigration, one of the more groups of Zoroastrians from the 10th century onward, so it seems, rather than from the 8th, as generally believed, made for the Persian Gulf, then from India, where they found asylum in Gujarat. Contact appears to have been almost completely severed up to the end of the 15th century. Renewed in 1477, it was maintained notably in the form of exchange of letters until 1768. These letters, 17 of which have been preserved, are the Rivayats. They contain the questions and answers exchanged between the Parsis of India and their cousins in Iran on matters of law, ritual, etc. In the 16th century, Emperor Akbar attempted to found a syncretistic religion chiefly based on Zoroastrianism and Islam. In the 17th century, under Akbar's grandson, Zoroastrian mystics who had come from Persia inspired a work, the Dabistan, which is vaguely universalistic and largely allegorizing. In the 18th century, Parsiism was divided into two sects on the question of calendar and ritual. Following contacts with the old tradition preserved in Iran, at the same time, the holders of this tradition endeavored to instruct other core religionists in India. These were able to turn to explain the Avesta to the Frenchman Anquetil du Perron, who translated it in 1771. It was then that the investigation of the Mazdian traditions by European scholars began, which made it greatest progress since the Commentaire sur Liasna, a commentary on part of the Avesta, published by Bernhoff in 1833, and has in turn helped the Parsis to discover their religious past. Accused of Daalism by the Christian missionaries, the Parsis tend to minimize this aspect of their religion. They were greatly helped in this by the German scholar Haug in the lecture given at Pune in 1861, as well as by his other works and those of his successors, which bring Zoroaster's monotheism to the force. This return of an elite to its religious origins brought about a division into reformists and reactionaries. Division concerned notably the value of prayers and ceremonies for the dead, despite the attempts purgation. Parsiism remained encumbered with adventitious elements. Astrology is current in it. Theosophic doctrines have crept in. The Parsis of India have done much to help their poor brothers in Iran, while the Muslims, called Gabars, infidels, and to secure a better social status for them from the Iranian government. Since India became independent in 1947, the status of the Parsis has been threatened and diminished by a regime which, tending towards a form of socialism or state capitalism, attacks the private fortunes. Since nothing can henceforth subsist without the state help, the Parsi schools, for instance, will have to open their doors to non-Parsis or perish. That will presently be left of their beliefs and customs, of the very consciousness that they form a group, and of their will to maintain it. It is conceivable that the Parsi community may vanish into the melting pot of the new India. The smallest of the great religions would then cease to exist.